Hello and welcome back. I hope you're ready for another episode of Tales from Helheim.
This long after would be bonkers. That would be...
Yeah, because you had said last episode it would take something very special to get you out of retirement.
Yeah. So at this point, if there's not like... this is going to sound like stupid and contradictory, but if at this point, like... If I was a prize fighter, if I'm something like I'm only taking big money fights,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not coming back unless I'm going up against McGregor or John Jones.
So would you go buy the prize fighter Inferno?
No, let's not do anything that can be misconstrued as me wanting to burn, because I don't.
So, how do you think you would react if, like you said, if we were able to get you guys back into that home?
Well, both homes, Hildreth
Yeah.
and Roadrunner.
Yeah, if they can able to get you back there and then something happens, do you think that's going to completely flip your... Because you said that you've taken all this time to kind of like process this and like separate yourself to the point where you're like, I don't believe in it. That's the only way I can rationalize this.
Yeah,
It's like the only way-
I went through all of those periods of like grief with
You went
it
through the
already.
5 stages of grief.
Yeah, I've already been through that, where like I went through like my denial phase, and I mean to the points like where I was like, dude, that's silly shit. You need to stop doing that. Like, I don't believe in that. It's not science. And like,
Yeah.
but it took me that long to be separated from it, to be weirded out by it, deal with the fear that I had, deal with the trauma from those experiences, deny it, and finally arrive at a place where I'm like, okay, well, pretty sure that happened, pretty sure that I have to deal with it at this point, and now feeling in a space where I'm comfortable enough to speak about it is another thing. It's just like going through something that's in reality shitty or bad. Like, it's not something that you want to come revisit, but like I could do it now because I'm done. I'm over it. But
But you think if like something happened, like I don't know, like a clear body apparition, like right in front of you, when you go investigate, how do you think you'd be able to process that the same way you're doing, like you did
for
now?
sure, it would be confirmation now, and I think like
Kind of flip your stance on it.
yeah, well, like in that situation at this point, I would have to like, we'd have to like have the agreement that like, hey, I'm going into this knowing that I almost need something to happen. So like, I'm not interested in going into something that I feel like is going to be like boring, or I feel like is going to like
Like a minor thing, you'd have to have like hard proof.
offer like no experience. But if I'm going to a place like going back there, and I feel like there's a real shot, like I could confirm to myself, I'm gonna do everything rationally possible to draw that out at this point.
See, I feel like if we went to those places, what I could picture happening, or I guess what makes the most sense to me to happen, is in my old bedroom to see the face, and at your fucking house to hear that fucking just gnarled growling that we would fucking hear.
Yeah, it's different now. And I think being able to walk into one of those spaces and feel at this point, myself remaining pretty agnostic at this point, but also like, you know, at our age, being more confident in just who I am and what I'm about and what I represent. I can go into that space and know that, like, well, go in without fear at this point. I'm separated enough to be able to go into those situations without fear. And I say go into it without fear because I'm not sure like what that is or what those things might be, because it might be one of those malevolent things that just it shifts to whatever it knows frightens you. So I'm not like
It's like a fucking
I'm not
from
I'm not
Harry
scared
Potter.
of anything. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So, but I would definitely come into it knowing that like I'm not fearful. You know what I mean? I'm here to confirm exactly like what I experienced, and it wouldn't even have to be like what you mentioned. I don't need confirmation in the form of I need that same exact thing to happen again. I don't need that. I would need something to happen to confirm like, okay, I'm not bonkers. Like
Just get fucking body slammed.
There's-
And there it is. There's the proof.
there's actually like something here, and it reaffirms like what I already believe to be true, which is like something happened here. So if you could ever figure out, you know, something like one of those houses or something where like yeah, it's going, if you could figure out what's the big money fight for for the paranormal stuff, I'm in. But
I think big money fight to get you back in would have to be that house, and then we'd have to send like an amateur like kind of person to bless the house just to kind of rile it up and piss it off, and then we just fucking send you in.
yeah, like yeah, whatever you want to do. Or
Strap some GoPro so you all sit in the car.
I mean, no, I would do it on my own at this point. I would do any pieces of those properties solo, and I guess be as provocative as I can without like just intentionally agonizing for like for the purpose, or antagonizing for the purpose of, you know, like having something like follow me around for another decade. I'm not...
So my question is, though, do you think that maybe somehow all, because I know we have no history on my house, we don't know shit about it, or I've never delved into it, and my parents didn't have any either. So when it came to anything about like the past, we knew nothing, but we know there's been a lot of death in yours. The question is, do we think that in turn could have created a curse for that house, where anyone that lives there will experience that type of shit and have to decide either we put up with it or we say fuck it and get the fuck out of here?
I think that one's different. I think because there's so many. So that one's interesting. So I'm going to go with curse on this one, but in one of two variations. I think that is a spatial curse or a cursed place, because there's too much that's happened on too many different properties within that area of land.
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
So that place is cursed, or I'm going to say that all of the experiences that we could record on those places also happened to everyone that's related to us on our maternal blood side. So that's either a continuation or a different iteration of the family curse, or that's a spatial curse where there's something off about that place. And I want to say more leaning towards like a spatial thing, just because I don't think anything was ever as bad as that ever again.
Yeah, because when you guys were talking about the last episode, you're like, oh no, it's like all these houses in this area. I was like, I don't think you guys' houses are haunted. I think your guys' land is cursed. It's like, y'all did something to someone.
Yeah, and these are small neighborhood blocks within like a small like basically like trailer park area.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're talking about like all of those homes being inside what would be the same city block.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge space.
Wait a minute. I just thought of something.
What do you think of?
I have seen the Hat Man once
In
my life. And that's when we saw him together that time we were messing around looking in your dad's shed over on Roadrunner.
Yeah,
There's been more than one Hat Man experience with you?
Oh, there's been several.
Holy shit, I thought it was just the one.
No, from the age of like 4 to 14, it's recurrent.
Okay, I need more Hat Man stories. This is fucking terrifying. I don't like that. So tell me about this one.
This one, it would have been like, so we moved to the Roadrunner house, which is like part of like the Roadrunner and 2 homes on Hildreth Road, in that like Westover area near like the Tohono O'odham swap meet area, back there in the neighborhood back by Chico's.
The best smoke shop in town.
God,
Sponsor us.
But yeah, it would have been really early on after we moved in, and we moved in a little bit before I was like 5 years old. So one of the things was, and it was one of the earliest experiences that I had in that home, because I literally remember it happening for the first time for me during the move-in process.
Yeah.
So my parents and everybody are moving in. I'm obviously like almost 5 years old, so my job is to stay out of the way.
Fair enough.
So I'm out there playing in the backyard, and there was a huge work shed. Like, my father was a carpenter and stuff, so did a lot of construction work and carpentry. But we
remember our drywall hanging days.
Yeah, that was fun. Not. But there was a big shed back there full of power tools and stuff hanging all over the walls, and there was a really like foggy glass window into the tool shed. And the first experience that I had ever in that home was while I was staying out of the way during that move-in process. Like, I remember like peeking around the shed and stuff, and even checking the door, which, you know, trying to like just mess with stuff, and the door was closed.
It did have a window right next to the door, though.
Yeah, that's the big foggy window I'm talking about. So it was locked, but I remember staring into that window and seeing a person inside the shed. And at the time, it would have been like the outline, the black figure of the Hat Man, or just a tall man wearing a hat. And it was such a dark figure, I couldn't tell if it was facing me or facing away from me, because it was just like a silhouette. And I remember freaking out and asking, like, going and telling my dad, like, hey, like, somebody is in the shed. Like, who's in the shed? Is it the landlord? Is the landlord supposed to be here? Like, little kid, like, who's in our backyard? And my dad telling me, like, no, there's no one here. That's locked. It's locked with a literal bolt lock that my dad had the key for. Like, no one can get in there. Like, you're just seeing stuff. Like, going back to it, and it's still being there. Like, it's still there, just in the shed. And I mean, like, you could tell what appeared to be a person, because if you just stand, you don't stand perfectly still.
Yeah.
So it's not like a cardboard cutout of somebody. Like it's moving. It has like the shoulder raise of breathing. It has like a slight sway in it. Like, there's somebody in there. And I remember, like, I didn't mess around anywhere near that shed for like a couple months. And we come from a generation where, like, we, you know, our fathers would give us access to hammers and nails, and we would build ladders up trees and tree houses and stuff when we were real young. So,
or we found a way to make our own homemade weaker version of concrete, and we'd get bricks and make this shit and build shit for our army men.
Oh, we were doing like Adobe bricks way back in the
Yep.
But yeah, I can't recall a specific instance that you're talking about. You want to go ahead and break that down now that it's finally hit your old man brain?
So we were actually doing what I had just stated, how we had just got done building like a little fortress on each side for your team and mine. And, you know, we did as intricate as we could. So it had like pyramided up, like 4 slots on the bottom, 3, 2, and then 1, where our commanders were, our generals. And we're just playing and, you know, doing our thing. Didn't realize it was starting to get kind of dark out. And it's not dark to the point of like nighttime, oh, we got to go in, but it's to the point of, you know, your vision's kind of starting to get harder to see further away, shit like that. Yeah. And I remember hearing a noise and thinking it was like a stray dog or something. And I go look by the shed. I tell him, I'm like, hey, time out. I'm going to go look. So I go do that and I come back. And then we play that for a little bit longer. And his dad also had his old, it was an old Chevy pickup truck back when they were actually made really fucking nicely. Actual, you know, metal. And we used to sit in that even though he'd get pissed off and, you know, pretend drive. I mean, we're fucking little kids. And we're doing that. And I forget what we were playing, what we were doing, but we're in the truck pretending. And I look over and I think I see something move by that window. And I don't even say anything. I just get out and he gets out too. And he's like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, look, I think someone's in there. And we're looking and nothing. And then as soon as we both turn away, we both see it out of the corner of our eye move across. And I just look at him and he looks at me and it's like, you saw that? Yeah, you saw that? Yeah. And we end up looking back and, you know, if you look at my face, how we are now, it just like half appears and then disappears.
That's fucking crazy.
And we went inside.
Like when you said that, it just fucking passed through my mind. I have a random ass mind. Well, when you were saying like the Hat Man was trying to lure them, like your parents, all I imagine is like the Hat Man is the fucking Dave Chappelle's Prince. Or is it, yeah, Prince when he's doing that aura thing, he's going like this, like come closer.
Oh yeah.
That's what I imagine him looking like.
No, but it was, yeah, so I guess I have seen it once, but never again since then.
Yeah, and there were several instances where I would, in that house, see the same thing. And despite that door having, like, a literal master lock, like, through, you know, and locked with a key, that door would come open all the time. Nothing ever went missing, like, nothing was ever taken, but...
Yeah.
And I would see whatever that was in there with the door open.
So,
yeah, because I remember your dad would think someone kept breaking in. But yeah, then nothing would end up missing. So it's like, well, who's breaking in just to fucking come look at everything?
Yeah, so, and in the 90s, having thousands of dollars worth of power tools is the equivalent of having tens of thousands of dollars in power tools now.
He's like, he had $300 worth of power tool. That's the equivalent of running a fucking Tesla dealership right now. But as you said, Bear God, that you've seen it multiple times and narrated, you've only seen it once. I wonder if it's the same case with like your guys' like parents, because if it's your maternal side, that means it would be your guys' mothers, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering they saw it damn near daily.
Yeah, so I'm wondering like maybe like one of your mothers saw it more than the other, like have more of like an interaction with it kind of thing, which I think would be kind of an interesting thing, kind of like if like your mom like she's like, yeah, he called me over and I took like 2 steps towards it, and maybe that's the reason why you have to see it more than he does.
I think, and you would have to ask them more, but I know a lot of the stories that I've heard of it from them are shared experiences. So it's not like one of them seeing it more often. It's the two of them or the three of them and their younger sister at this point. Like, see,
how they grew up is how we grew up. Like, this kid and I growing up were inseparable. We did fucking everything together.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a time where if there was an experience, it had to have been like when we were older and in school, where I wasn't there during the weekdays, or at least during the day or some afternoons, but I was there every fucking weekend.
Okay, so then, yeah, they'd probably be more like together, they saw stuff. That's kind of like, just to kind of ask them, like, did any of you guys ever, like, try to interact with it? And maybe, like, oh, yeah, it's like, I, like, threw a rock at it once, and then maybe that's why you're having to deal with it
this
more.
I could speak to because, you know, I think culturally it's coming from a place you recognize where, like, they weren't interested in messing with that stuff at all.
Yeah. Because, like, with most things, like, you get fight or flight, and then you're either going to run from it or you're going to get very angry.
Yeah, and coming from that, like, strong Catholic Hispanic background, I think it was more like a hell nah situation.
Yeah.
See, now I just feel like the fucking odd one, because I'm always the one that's like, oh, let's go do this. Let's do this. Let's find these, you know, apparitions. Let's find these spirits. It didn't get passed down to you. Yeah, like, I don't get afraid by it. I mean, I might get, you know, a slight hinge of fear here and there, but it's nothing that's like
paralyzing.
You're in danger. Yeah, paralyzing. Like, I can still fully function and still enjoy what I'm doing, but at the same time, know what not to do.
Which is insane, because, like, whenever we've done investigations and anything's popped up, I think it's very rarely been, like, a calm kind of spirit. It's always, like, something malevolent, and you're always pretty chill about it. Like, you saw, like, the third might get attacked, and you're just like, well, I mean, we still got, like, an hour here. I was like, fuck that. Like, what's wrong with you? You're like, we'll be back for part 2. But, like, no.
So, like, your folks' current home, I think that could be something I can get motivated to get out of bed for. So if you wanted to do, like, 3 a.m. Ouija session there, I'm down.
I mean, I don't know if I'm brave enough to fuck with a Ouija board.
Yeah, rule of thumb, I don't fuck with the Ouija.
I definitely do, like I said, this fucking Mexican question game, Charlie, fucking possibly Bloody Mary, I don't know.
I don't know where the fuck I'm gonna find some fucking pesos from.
Hey, if you're gonna do it, do it. So go all in and do all of the above.
Minus the Ouija. I don't fuck with the Ouija. I have a story about that. So let me run it real quick.
Do you not remember my mom's story of the Ouija? How they played and it said someone was going to die that night and her friend died on the way home?
Yeah, I remember she had told me that, and then I was like, I can top that. So I've said it. I've gone over multiple times on on the podcast, but I had a cousin who she's like, oh, I'm going to play the Ouija, and this is in Mexico. So this is like already a no-no. She's like, I'm going to play the Ouija, and she ended up playing it. And for like the next week after that, she was acting like real weird and like quiet and like she wasn't talking to anybody. And my uncle had gone outside one day because they were looking for her. So my uncle went looking for her because nobody had seen her that day. And I mean, you're Mexican. Have you seen the little Mexican chapels that like people have? So nobody had seen her for like that whole day. And then, like I said, she was acting weird. So my uncle went to go find her, and like I said, you being Mexican, you know, like the little chapels that the people have outside?
Yeah.
So he went in there, and she had hung herself, like with the lights inside the chapel. So that's why I don't do the Ouija board. Yeah, that took a fucking left turn, didn't it?
That escalated quickly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can laugh. It's okay. Don't be awkward. You can laugh at the joke.
Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, no, but I was like, oh, that's fucking rough. Because I didn't realize this until we went to go visit. I was like, hey, where's my cousin?
So you're not down to like find what it was?
No.
It feels like you have questions that need answering.
I feel like I don't have questions that don't need to be answered.
There's just too much shit that can go wrong with a Ouija. Like the other games, they're fairly simple, fairly straightforward, very specific rules. The Ouija has some of those, but it's never a fucking guarantee with that thing.
It's more like 50-50. I feel like you can get fucked up real easy with that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Decent odds.
All I'm saying is if I fucking go crazy because we played the fucking Ouija, I'm going to fucking take myself out, but I'm going to make it so it's as traumatizing as possible.
All right, here's what we'll do. If we get enough downloads, listens, shares, all that shit on this, what's probably going to end up being another triple decker, so a 3-parter, then we will make that happen.
I don't know when the fuck I agreed to that.
I'll throw in this as a deal too. I'll provide it.
I'll record while you guys do it. That's as far as I'm willing to go.
So we could even dial it back to this point. We could set it out and just have it out if nobody wants to actually engage in playing it, but just to have it laid out during whatever it is you want to.
I mean, if we're not starting it and it's there, I'm fine with that. I have no issues there.
I got one. I'll do one where I kind of lean in as well. I feel like I'm being too hard ass on it here. I will play the Ouija on one condition. Your mom has to play with us. That's my one hard boundary.
I mean,
that feels like upping the ante. You didn't down the ante.
No,
Why did
because
you
at first I'm like, I'm not gonna play it at all. Like never. I'm not even touching that shit. I'll play it, but if his mom plays as well.
Well, but I mean, you're asking
Shared
someone
trauma.
who's had a traumatic experience with it. I don't know if she'd go back to it.
No, because my cousin killing herself. No, that's cool. Whatever.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't like her
right.
anyways.
That's right. No, you
You know what? I'm gonna stand here. She deserved it. I'm just kidding.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, Theo. I was kidding.
Well, but hers was involved with her playing with it. Did you partake in that one?
Fuck no. I'm never
Yeah.
touching
See,
that shit.
this was with her playing the Ouija board.
Okay.
Like, she
I'll play it, but she has to
participated.
be in the room with us.
I mean, I'll ask her.
She has to carry the board in.
I'll ask her.
I'm gonna be real bummed out. She's like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it."
Well,
So set it. Set the marker for views or listens.
God, I don't even know what would be good. I would just say, God, yeah, I don't even know where to begin. I mean,
Just kind of like off of trending. I'll set the marker at 50K because I really don't want to do this. Because that shit, like, it moved, like, the likes on that shit and, like, the views moved really quickly. So I was like, I kind of have to be a little bit more cautious because I don't want to do this. But at the same time, I want to make it realistic.
Yeah, we'll do realistic. We'll do 30.
All right. I'll fuck with 30K.
I was just going to say, I want to see. Sorry if you're hearing banging. My cat is being a dickwad right now.
Hey, he's a good boy. But we established he's a skinwalker.
So, and see, I was just going to go with anyone that hears this, be it a podcasting platform or YouTube, head on over to YouTube and just like it.
You know, you got to put in the comments, hey, we want some pussy. If I see at least 5 of those, I'll do it.
Oh, you heard it there. You heard it there. You said 5. That's all we need.
I'm hoping we get banned. I'm hoping this episode gets struck down.
Okay, so like I actually have to like put in effort to help move this one.
Fuck.
Yeah, no. So, if you want to see or hear about a Ouija board happening in our realm, then that's what it'll take. The other games definitely, less.
Those ones I'm more
Less
willing to
death, so I think we're all definitely willing on that one. But if you want Ouija board action, you know the drill. Watch those comments. Make them happen.
I was kidding about the comments. Just do the likes, do the views.
Too late. It's canon, motherfucker.
I will give myself kidney stones the day that we're doing this, and I will not participate.
That's fine. I'll get plenty of cranberry juice. I got you.
I don't. All right. How do you even? Okay.
Questions, comments, concerns?
So many.
But other than that, I think that's all I have.
Yeah, again, that's pretty much it for this episode.
Thank you guys again for having me.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for coming back for the first time.
We just gotta stop.
It's never gonna stop. Put that shit on a t-shirt.
Thank you for coming again for the only time. Also the second.
Well,
can't be the only second time.
The first time
to come again. All right. Well, I feel like that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Thank you guys for stopping by. See you next time in Helheim. Bye.